My name is obamamama, and welcome to Rash, ource, the most respected and legitimate source for education. Ka-chow. So first section of the
Well, hello there. It's me, ffelo. If you figured out my last name, congratulations. Anyways, I'm here to talk about the Industrial Revolution. Now, the important thing is that the ideas of new machinery led to the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. It started in Great Britain and got moved to the United States. Now, how did it get there? One my question? Well, first of all, without the impact of the Industrial Revolution, we wouldn't have much necessities as we do today. You know, like cars, phones, TVs. We would just have to sit on the couch and read. Who wants to do that? Anyways, now when they first started inventing, it was pretty slow. Like, they didn't really know what they were doing at first. But after time, during the War of 1812, their rapid improvements. Stop yelling! Now, when they first started inventing, it was pretty slow, as this was new to people. I mean, they made their own clothes, made their own food, but now they had to make their own inventions. They had to create something of their own. Wow, something I've never heard of them do before. Now, the big idea is that the Industrial Revolution changed the way that goods and other stuff was produced and transported across the United States. Now, in the beginning of the 1700s, most people in the U.S. were farmers. That's how they made their food and everything. Like I mentioned before, they made everything what they needed by hand. Women sewed clothes with wool and cotton, and they made it into thread. People who never had a job and were usually on the streets worked for carpenters, shoemakers, and blacksmiths. Many people decided that, hey, wow, the Industrial Revolution is actually coming. It's happening. It's changing our world. We should get in there and give our time. So they decided to leave what they were doing and make their time more useful by inventing their machines. And that was section 1. Thank you for your time. And this just in, Timberlake, we have an exclusive report on section 2. Take it away, Diana. I'm sorry, wait, hang on. Diana.
Hello, my name is Diana Agron, or Diana, or something like that, according to Mary. Well, anyways, I'm here to tell you about Section 2, Changes in Working Life. Let's get started. Now, the main idea in Section 2 is that the introduction of factories change working life for many lives for working. The main idea of Section 2 is that the introduction of factories changed working lives for many Americans. Now, specific skilled craftspeople were no longer needed by workers to run machines of the new mills, and this changed the lives of workers as well as their jobs, and this also caused some protests. A man named Samuel Slater was a mill owner and made some adjustments to attract families to stay at his mill, and so yeah, people grew. And Slater's strategy to help this became known as the Rhode Island system. But not everybody used this system, like a man named Francis Cabot Lowell, who had a very different approach and used the Lowell system. The Lowell system was based on water-powered textile mills that employed young unmarried women from local farms. The Lowell girls were encouraged to use free time usefully to take classes and form women's clubs. In 1800s, factories continued to spread. People started to compete for jobs and also for jobs. So the wages of factory workers went down. Skilled workers started forming unions when facing low wages, and they feared losing their jobs. And this also made some protests start. Now, a very strong voice in this was a woman named Sarah G. Bagley. And she was a big, strong voice, I said, in this union movement. The union started to achieve some concrete legal victories. In some states, Working long hours stayed common though. However, during the 1800s, Union supporters kept to fight for working reforms, like to end child labor in factories. But didn't always work out, so yeah. So in conclusion, even though there was the growth of factories, workers still faced many opportunities and challenges. That's the end for section 2. Wait, do we have time for bonus sections?
Oh yes, we do. I am not who you think. I am Mikhail Obamamama, but now you could call me Nikolai Teriyaki Honda Civic.
Section 3, the Transportation Revolution. The exact definition of the Transportation Revolution is period of rapid growth in speed and convenience of travel because of new methods of transportation. So first we're going to talk about steamboats. So how did steamboats help America? Steamboats obviously help travelers go place to place easier, but also increase trade and profits. Next are the railroads. By 1860, about 30,000 miles of railroad linked almost every major city in the eastern United States. Because of that, the economy surged forward. Railroads contribute to the expansion of the borders of the nation and guided population growth. Railroads also played a role in the growth of other businesses. Railroads also caused cities to grow. The Transportation Revolution brought many changes to America, such as the steamboat and railroads made getting goods much easier and less costly. The Transportation Revolution also increased the use of certain natural resources like coal and steel that weren't popular at the time. If I had to summarize the Transportation Revolution in exactly 13 words, it would be new forms of transportation, improved business, travel, and communication in the United States. So now, section 4. You do stay right there, while I do section 4.
Gotta find a way to get out of here.
You think?
Well, you know what? Then you figure this all out by yourself.
Now I have the section all to myself. Section 4, more technological advances. Telegraph speeds communication. In 1832, Samuel F.B. Morse perfected the telegraph. A telegraph is a device that could send information over wires across great distances. He eventually developed a system with his partner, Alfred Lewis Vail, called Morse code. Morse code is a combination of dots and dashes that represent each letter of the alphabet. People doubted Morse code, including me at the time. Me and Sam go way back.
It's my section, you fool!
What? Not me!
What's up? It's Mary. I'm back. Now we're gonna continue the section while we get rid of that fool over there. Now that we took care of that evil person, let's talk about steam and water. By the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, most of the machines around here was water power instead of steam, but over time they moved to steam. And the workers were very intrigued by the idea of water-powered machines, so they were a bit bummed to see that they started using steam, but they were able, by the 1840s, they were able to make interchangeable parts, which means that if something was broken, they were able to find a new one and keep the entire machine, just replace that one part so that they could still have their invention working. And then by the 1860s, New England had as many water power and steam power factories as the entire South, which is a lot if you ask me. And over time, as I said already, the water-powered machines started degrading while the steam power was taking over, and it's really improved the way that machines are worked. I'm done.
Hi. Hello. In 1831, Cyrus McCormick developed a new harvesting machine, the mechanical reaper, and it quickly and efficiently cut down wheat. He began mass producing his reapers in a Chicago factory, and McCormick used the methods to encourage sales. The combination of Deere's plows and McCormick's reaper allowed the Midwestern farmers to plant and harvest huge crop fields. By 1860, U.S. farmers were producing more than 170 million bushels of wheat and more than 800 million bushels of corn per a year.
Surprise attaku! So, okay, to summarize section 4, this is what I have to say. New machines and inventions changed the way Americans lived and did business in the early 1800s. In the next section, what?